Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and welcome back here to Intuitive Angling. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the advantages of running an aluminum bass boat. I've had a chance to run several of them over the years, and a lot of you guys know that I've been in the market looking for a boat for the last month and a half, and I finally found it. I'm going with an aluminum rig with 150 horsepower, and I haven't announced it yet. I'm trying to get a couple of the final details lined out on it. I'll probably come out with some information here over the next couple weeks, but I really want to go into the reason like why I chose to go with an aluminum boat, and sort of maybe point you in that direction too, because I think once you hear about the advantages of it, you might want to consider that the next time you're looking for a boat, or if you're looking to make a switch there. Also guys, and talking about boats, I don't know if y'all know it, but Tackle Warehouse also carries a ton of stuff for your boat. In addition to tackle and stuff, they carry trolling motors, they carry different type of electronics, a bunch of different accessories for your boat. So I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys are looking for anything like that for your boat. Using that link's a good way to support the channel, and I really appreciate that. Okay guys, I've this whole new boat process I've been going through, I've really taken a lot of time to do it, because if you guys that watch the channel, you know that I've made a commitment to scaling back. I talk about the simplicity of bass fishing and the importance of it. And I really felt that one of the things that I needed to do with that is to show the example of what I'm talking about it by actually doing it myself. So, that's why I decided to go with an aluminum boat with a smaller horsepower. I was going back and forth between 115 and 150 horsepower. And if I didn't fish tournaments, I probably would have went with 115. But since I'm in tournaments, still fishing tournaments, when you got a partner in your boat, you got a full tournament load, sometimes that extra 35 horsepower can really help you out in a tournament scenario. But if you're just fishing for fun, you probably don't really need it. So let's talk a little bit about the advantages of aluminum over fiberglass. Now, I've had a chance to run two different aluminums in my career. That's my very first boat was an aluminum, and then 4 years ago I made a switch and I ran an aluminum boat for half the season. And I was fishing all of the Bassmaster Opens that season. I had the aluminum rig, and midway through the season I was in second place in the Bassmaster Angler of the Year point standings. And then mid-season I got a chance to run a big fiberglass rig, so I switched to that, and I dropped to 13th place. So the aluminum rig was actually catching me more fish than the fiberglass rig did. But so anyway, I've had a chance to be in aluminum quite a bit, a lot of different type of water. Now let's talk a little bit about the advantages of it. I actually did a little bit on this. I did the advantages and disadvantages over aluminum versus fiberglass in my fishing teacher, but I want to talk about just the advantages of a tin or metal boat in today's video. First of all, the thing that I like about it more than anything else is they're cheaper. Overall, when you talk about a top-of-the-line aluminum bass boat, you can get just a premium, state-of-the-art, tournament rigged and ready aluminum bass boat for about half the cost as a similar top-of-the-line fiberglass rig. And we all know that the price of fiberglass rigs are just ridiculous now. They're routinely over $100,000. And you can get into just a incredible, beautiful, state-of-the-art aluminum bass boat with 150 horsepower for under $50,000 pretty easily. So that's a big consideration for sure. And I really think that one of the things that I sort of predict is, as the cost and the price of these fiberglass rigs continue to go through the roof, I think that just the price point alone is going to push a lot of people towards the aluminum boats. Other advantage of aluminum rig, guys, is what I really like about it, is you can get into a lot shallower water. Now, if you're a scoper, you're probably not interested in getting in shallow water, but if you're a real bass fisherman and like to fish, for bass in the traditional real way, being able to get into that shallow water and access that is a big deal. I mean, there's a huge difference between being able to get your boat over a little high spot that's only, 12 or 15 inches deep, and accessing some water that doesn't get fished by other anglers much, and you couldn't get that big 21-foot glass rig in that same type of water. So that's one of the reasons that I really, really like it. Another reason that I like an aluminum rig, and I think this is one of the reasons why I was doing so well in the Bassmaster Opens out of it, is they're smaller in general, and it forces you to downsize and simplify your tackle. when I was running that aluminum rig on the Bassmaster Open, I couldn't carry not even 50% of what I could carry in a full-size glass boat. So it made me, I had to prepare, and I had to really spend time packing and downsizing my lure selection and my equipment. And so it gave me fewer options. And a lot of times when you're fishing, if you carry, the kitchen sink in the boat with you, you've got too many different things you could possibly be doing. And for me, one of the biggest pluses for that, looking back on it, is it really simplified my approach, and it narrowed my options down, and it forced me to really, spend more time focusing on locating those fish instead of just, spending all my time changing out baits that may or may not work. I thought that was going to be a drawback at first, but it wasn't. I mean, it turned out to be a huge advantage. So I don't think that you can underestimate that. Another thing, guys, is you don't have to worry about scratching it up and scratching up your fiberglass. I mean, if you had a fiberglass rig, you get scratched up on rocks if you're pulling it up on the bank. It gets scratched on boat cables. If you get brush or something, it'll scratch it. You're always worrying about scratching the bottom of your boat, and not so much with an aluminum rig. Aluminum rig is sort of designed for that. So from that standpoint, it's a lot more user-friendly as far as being able to scratch it up. And another thing with that is it's more maneuverable around objects. Now, this is probably one of the biggest elements of it, because if you are in a big 21-foot boat with a 250 horsepower, and let's say that you're coming up on a piece of structure, you're coming up on a lay-down tree, or you're coming up on a boat dock, and maybe you just happen to come into it just a little bit fast, it takes a lot of trolling motor juice in order to turn that thing or slow it down. And then you wind up throwing prop wash back on your cover. If you're in an aluminum boat, it reacts almost instantly. It's like when you're working or maneuvering in between boat docks or around cover or any type of shallow structure, it doesn't take hardly any thrust from the trolling motor to make that boat move. So you can be more stealthy. And one of the things that I have found out about bass in general is most people, they don't spend near enough time or realize how important it is to be stealthy when you're fishing for bass. Bass are not stupid. It's like let's say, for example, you got a boat dock you're fishing, and you're running to that boat dock down the lake, and you shut your boat down 50 yards away from that boat dock. That bass knows you're there. I don't care if you're 50 yards from it. That bass can hear that thing. You know how loud a motor is underneath the water? They know you're there. So when you come up to that piece of cover, the noise is part of their environment, but what they have, bass have evolved to react and become inactive or active based upon the noise decibels in the water. That's why it's always better to fish during the week than the weekend, because there's fewer noise decibels. But when you approach that piece of cover with an aluminum boat, you draft shallower, and also it requires less trolling motor thrust, which it creates noise. So it just allows you to be a lot more stealthy. And they're fun to drive. I love driving an aluminum boat. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about an aluminum boat is they can't handle rough water and they're rough to ride in. That's not it at all, guys. A rough ride in a boat is 90% of it comes from the driver. It's like if you understand how to read waves and how to position your boat and how to go through waves and how to attack waves, your ride can be just as smooth as a fiberglass rig. But if you don't understand how to drive a boat, you don't understand how to manipulate your trim and tilt, and you don't understand how to tack waves at certain angles, it's going to be rough even in a fiberglass boat. So overall, and towing, another thing, guys, they're super easy to tow. You don't have to have a big old honking 3/4 ton diesel truck to tow it. You can have a little, half-ton pickup. You can even tow it on a mini pickup. So it's a lot more fuel efficient. They don't burn as much gas. I mean, if you're running a 115 or 150, you're going to burn a fraction of the gas that you would in that big 250 gas hog. Same with your truck. You're not going to burn as much, money in your gas in your truck. It's easier to maneuver around in your garage. You can most of the time, they're single axle, so you can maneuver them real easy. Just a lot of advantages, and that's why I'm going to the aluminum rig. And I'm speaking to that for somebody that's had everything, guys. I've had over 45 or 50 bass boats during my life, and So I got a lot of experience on what's boats do and don't do. So anyway, guys, I'm going to an aluminum rig. I'll keep you guys updated when, you know, when I get it and everything's finalized on that. We'll do a little walkthrough on it. But if you're looking for a new bass boat, highly consider running an aluminum rig. I think you'll be happy with it and definitely save you a lot of money all the way around. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. We'll talk later.